Hey guys, Global Girls back with another video. I'm Chastity and this is
Danica.
So today we have a very special guest that is going to be joining us today, and we're going to be talking about a very special topic since Black History Month is coming up tomorrow.
Right. So the guest that we're having today, my advisor, sociology teacher, Miss Eversley. Alright, so before we start talking about Black Lives Matter as a whole, we're going to talk about the week of action that is going to be taking place in New York City schools, which has 4 demands, which is end zero tolerance, hire Black teachers, mandatory Black history and ethics studies, and fund counselors, not cops.
Okay, so first we're going to start with what is the Black Lives Matter movement and when did it originate, when and where. So the Black Lives Matter movement is an activist movement that originated in the African American community. It was against violence and racism amongst people of color. It started with Trayvon Martin, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows about. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Trayvon Martin was a teen like us. He was not older than 16, 17, and one day he was wearing a black hoodie and he had a black scandal bag, and sadly he saw cops approaching him and he started running, and the end of the results were cops ended up shooting him, and that initiated Black Lives Matter movement because Black lives have continuously started to get targeted, and teens such as myself and Chastity have been dying for no reason, basically.
Can I just say,
Sure.
Trayvon was actually just walking home from the store. He had a bag of Skittles and ice cream.
Arizona,
Yeah, and he was approached by someone who was not law enforcement, and wound up being killed because the person just thought that he didn't belong there. George Zimmerman was his murderer.
The story started with Trayvon Martin, and there were many, many, many more people of color that were being shot and killed and hurt by police brutality. We have people like Eric Gardner. We have I'm trying to remember. There's just so many. The Philando Castillo that got shot in front of his kids.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just really sad to see all this stuff is coming.
Right.
Still.
So, first, let's talk about, like, since you're a sociology teacher and you obviously went through a lot of school, and we just want to know, like, what are the problems you see in our community and in our society that is continuing through generations and generations, and from your perspective, what do you see solutions?
That's a great question. So I'm going to start with the last question about the solutions.
All right.
I think the solutions come from young people. Young people have always led us and pushed society to evolve because of whatever injustice was happening. It's always come from young people. So the solution starts there. And that's why I'm passionate about teaching, because I want to plant those seeds in young people. I want you all to understand that whatever you see happening can change. And knowledge of the issue is so important, because so much happens that it happens right in front of us and we don't even recognize it as injustice. So knowing and understanding injustice and knowing that you have agency and you have the power to be a change maker and you will make a better tomorrow for all of us is what keeps me going. So it's all about you all. We have, this country kind of like started out sort of, in the spirit of injustice.
Right.
Stealing land, enslaving people, and those traditions have continued. People are not legally enslaved anymore, but there are other ways. The criminal justice system is where sort of like slavery ended. The criminal justice system picks up when you look at data and statistics about who gets there and how they get there, and how sentencing is different based on color of your skin. All of that contributes to this sort of like tradition of injustice. Things like education and health. When you look at things like maternal mortality, women get pregnant, they go in to have a baby. If you're Black, you are something like 7 times more likely to end up, with some kind of complication, even death of the mother, death of the child. And when you control for everything else, you learn that this is only about race, skin color. It's not even about level of education. It's not even about income. It's only about race.
Right.
So what is that? Because literally people are dying because of things like implicit bias, because of racism. So it is up to you all. It's up to you all to be politically active. It's up to you all to stand up and say, we want to make a better tomorrow for ourselves, for our children that'll be coming down the line. It's up to you. So that's why I do what I do.
I love that. That was really good. Okay, so
Motivational speaker coming 2019 to 2020.
I say Miss Ernestine should run for president.
Oh, do you really?
Okay.
You run, I'll be your campaign
Okay,
manager.
okay. I like that. All right, so are there any examples today of like where Black Lives Matters?
Oh,
So,
Sorry, one more great opportunity after school from here out.
Okay, we can cut it out. Okay,
Thursdays
so,
and
okay.
Fridays,
So I'm gonna talk
Daphne
about,
Morales
like,
will be
examples
doing homework
where
help
Black Lives
after
Matter
school
should
in
play a
room
role.
167.
What situation
Right after
is it?
school, great opportunity to stay on top of your classes and get your homework done before you go home.
Yeah.
And get your grades up. I know a lot of people's goals for the semester is to get the grades up. So
Do you have
let's
anything
start
else?
with getting
Should have
homework
done
help
this when she
after
did the
school
announcements.
with Daphne Morales. Thanks.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about examples where Black Lives Matter should play like a role. So recently in the news there was an actor, Jussie Smollett. He got attacked in Chicago by
Right.
two. They're claiming that they're white supremacists, and they tied a noose around his neck. They poured bleach on him, and they fractured his ribs, and they hurt him really badly. So, do you think, in a way, that people should unite, or Black Lives Matter should kind of come together again to kind of bring justice to the issue?
Well, from my perspective, I think like people right now needs to know that we can't get anything, we can't progress if we're all separated. Like, even right now, you guys are, we're saying that Black Lives Matter movement, let's clear it up in this video. Black Lives Matter movement is not saying that we should go kill other white people or anything. Black Lives Matter is basically to bring attention to the community, not only black people, but everybody as a community, that things need to change for the black lives, but black people in general. So that was just a clear up right here. But getting back to the situation, the Black Lives Matter movement, it has to be addressed by not only us, but since there's even Blue Lives Matter claiming that it's for they matter, All Lives Matter claiming that everybody matter. So why can't we see justice? If all lives matter, why can't we just see justice? Why does it have to be Black Lives Matter? If all lives matter, why aren't they bringing attention to this? Why does it always have to be Black lives? I thought Black lives was also all lives. So that was a point that I would like to bring attention, say everybody needs to come together and bring justice for Jussie.
So it's it's hard for me to watch the news now because there's so much that's so tragic. I feel like there's so much potential that we all have in our society. We should be figuring out ways to really evolve and get better. And so, he also had a noose, like he also had something put around him. So it brings us right back to the Reconstruction era, right? It brings us back to like 1865, 1870, with the rise of the KKK. And so what is it that's really happening? Like that's what needs to be unpacked. Why would on the streets of Chicago two people feel compelled to treat another human being this way? Like those are the things. The humanity, has been sort of like just shrouded by hatred now. And where is that coming from? So, even if you look at something like a school, right? And you look at the culture of a school, it's top down. It's, what is it that the principal believes? What is it that the administration, the teachers, what are they doing? And so how are they creating culture? It's no different in a country, right? Where are the sentiments coming from? So it's been, what I understood is that they yelled out like, "Make America Great Again." Mm-hmm. So lynching or mistreating a person, beating a person, and then screaming out the logo of the person who is leading us says a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think, again, I'm going to swing it back to political action. I am in awe of the young people who started Black Lives Matter, who are on the front line. Like, I am cheering for them. I think that's where it has to be. So it has to be about swift and immediate response, but it also has to be about next steps. Black Lives Matter has a huge political, like they have a whole agenda. If you go to their website, you'll see. They have, they have their own demands, and they have links to resources. I mean, it's fantastic. Part of that, though, has to be about political action. In 2008 and 2012, when Barack Obama was elected president, he ran a whole grassroots campaign. The crux of his campaign was about young people. He had college students lining up to vote. He was able to galvanize young people who loved him. He was a rock star to them, right? That, to me, was powerful. In 2016, we did not have that. We had college students who did not know, they didn't know much about who the candidates were, and it was a missed opportunity. When we don't tap into young people, we miss opportunities. You all lead us. So the point is, when something like this happens, we have to think about the power base, and we have to think about what we can do to effect change for all of society. When young people are coming out and they're on college campuses and they're in the streets and they are, one, saying this is unacceptable, but two, making plans for that base to form a block and then make a change, when on election day, that's when we start to see change. So I want to hear the voices, but I want to see the action.
Right. That's a good point. You'll see me at the voting polls in 2020.
That's right.
You'll see me there.
That's right.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, but on Global Girls, when we do shoot our videos, we're always gonna have a question at the end, and we would like you guys to comment down below your opinion and your voice. So our question today is, what do you believe Black Lives Matter should do about the Jussie Smollett? Sorry, Jussie Smollett. Having a problem addressing your name a little bit, but that's our question today. So, Global Girls, we'll see you next time.